morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
One thing Kevin didn't mention is that I'm an old CEO. So I actually started a company with an unknown brand, a foreign brand, and I built it into the market leader and sold it to a Fortune 100 company. And I said, show me the money, I gotta go, okay? So I'm not going to talk about it. I mean, I've done it, and I then went on to be the CEO of a couple of other companies. And, so what I'm going to try to do today, unfortunately, because I don't know who knows what, you know, I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing in general. So, you know, if you're a marketing expert, I guess I'll be boring you a little bit. But I think it's important to set the stage so that, you know, we have a clear understanding of what's happening here, okay? So, the goal here is to realize and recognize that in most companies that are very successful, the CEO, okay, becomes the brand, right? And the company's brand is the brand, you know what I mean? So Polo is Ralph Lauren, and Ralph Lauren is Polo, and so forth and so on, right? So, you know, the goal, I think, is to get customers to say, whatever it is you're doing, right? I love it, right? I love my iPhone or whatever they love, right? I love it. Okay. So, with that in mind, I'll just like to go through some fundamentals here. You know, marketing is the battle for the customer's mind. That's what it is, right? Huh? It's the battle for the customer's mind. Now, you know, brands exist in the mind. They exist in the mind. You know, you may be actually walking around a physical product, but the way you got that physical product is that somebody convinced you, one way or another, right, that this is the best, right? Huh? The best for you in whatever you do, okay? And the other concept of marketing that's pretty important is that perception is reality, okay? So I'm going to do a little test here, if you don't mind, not a big test. What do you see? What do you see?
I punched the computer.
What do you see?
Oh, two faces.
Two faces. What do you see?
A wine glass.
A wine glass.
With two faces.
With two faces, okay. So, here's two different people. One said it's two people, the other said it's a wine glass, right? So, again, and two people.
Yeah, but you know, Marty is passionate about wine.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
It's someone who wants to see.
So, you know, that's kind of. Oops. What's happening here? Okay. So, the other thing that's important to recognize is that, you know, the mind is a dripping sponge. That's what it is, okay? And the only way anything you can get in, right, is by knocking something else out, right? So, the goal of any branding activity is to get into the mind, first of all, right? And then secondly, stay there, okay? And both of those are very expensive activities, right? It's expensive to get in, and it's also expensive to stay in. Now, we all have a kind of a mental product grid, you know, in our mind, and it's sort of like a gigantic ice cube tray, and you know, we have perceptions about everything that we buy. That's why I asked you that little question about perceptions, right? So, you have a little cube, let's say, for toothpaste, right? And in that cube is your perception of the best toothpaste for you, okay? All right? And maybe you're a Crest person, I don't know. Maybe
People are.
Huh?
A lot of people are.
Team members, okay. Now, the other aspect of this thing has to do with how the mind works, which you're all probably familiar with. I don't know, since I don't exercise with you, all right? So, you know, you either have products you care about, and you have products that you don't care about, right? So if you don't care about a product, what do? You buy the cheapest, right? If you care about it, then you have two categories of caring. Number one, what you perceive to be the best, right? And you have several levels of best. You can have number one, number two. Most people don't have a number three because they, for some strange reason, can't retain, you know, more than two. I don't know why that is, but it's the way it is, you know what I mean? So, and if you ever want to test this, when you go to the supermarket, you may never go to the supermarket, but the supermarket is a wonderful place, right? Every marketing lesson you ever want to learn is in the supermarket, right? It's a fabulous place. So, if you go there and you take a look at people's shopping baskets, what you're going to see in there, right? Half of this stuff is going to be the most expensive top of the line, and the other half of the stuff is going to be what? The cheapest, huh? Right? So, the goal then, what? Is to fit into one of these three categories, or one or more of these three categories, right? Because if you don't fit, then what kind of an image do you have? Fuzzy. It's a fuzzy image, right? Huh? You say, what the heck? What are they doing? So, you know, marketing is about differentiation. That's what it's all about differentiation, right? So it starts with developing, you know, a unique value proposition. What is it? What is your unique value proposition? All right? When somebody talks to you, what do you say? Your phone is ringing, don't they say? If you're in the phone business, I think that's great. Okay, but you should be able to explain quickly, right, what it is. So somebody says, "What do you do?" I say, "I'm an author, and I'm an educator, and I'm a brand builder." That's it. There's nothing else for me to say, right? That's all I do. Right? So it starts out trying to figure out what is different about what we're doing. Our product. Is it faster? Is it better? Is it cheaper? Okay? So the first thing is you've got to think a little bit about, you know, what is our differentiation strategy? So who are we trying to reach? You know, what is the frame of reference? And what is different about what we're doing than our competition, right? So let's take a couple of car companies, right? What does Mercedes-Benz say? What do they say? The best engineered car in the world, right? Is that what they say? What's the BMW say? Unique driving experience, right? Huh?
Ultimate driving machine.
Whatever, okay? Now I could bring three people in here, right? All looking exactly the same socioeconomic profile, right? And the Mercedes person will swear and say, "Hey, I've got the best engineered car in the world." And the BMW person will say, "Oh," you know, and whoever else it is, poor Volvo, I think, has lost its unique value proposition. You know what I mean? Once upon a time, you could say, Volvo could say, it's the safest. Well, unfortunately, they're all safe, right? So it's now lost its value proposition. Yeah.
The safest is the Tesla.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, I don't know if anyone knows about Volvo or where it is. Okay. They're down to about 0.5% of the whole automobile market. They're going to probably disappear. I can't imagine them continuing. You know what I mean? So, secondly, you know, you've got to create your unique business idea. You've got to pick some words, 3 to 6 carefully selected words, the best engineered car in the world, or whatever, okay, that express your differentiation. Enables everybody to talk to 10 levels of meaning about the company, you know. So, what do you do best? You know, what is it? So you need to pick some words. It's all about words, all right? What's in the air? What are the deep moods of the target, the customer, right? Everybody's in the customer business. This is another funny thing that I notice, all right? Everybody thinks you're in the product business, but you're really in the customer business, okay? Your business, and you know, you're trying to come up with your unique value proposition. What is it? And then you got to get everybody on the team, everybody in the company, right, to align themselves with unique value proposition. So everybody in the company has to say the same thing. They got to speak the same language, right? Okay. You go into a polo store. Everybody looks like a polo model, don't they? For the most part. Huh? Everybody know they just opened a restaurant here. Anybody know that? Over on 54th Street. You can't get into that place. Reservations are not booked through May. Can you imagine? Huh? So if you want a little example of the power of brand equity, I can't think of a better one. So, see, we lost this thing here now.
No, I can make it back to some people, that's not a problem.
Who get your name? What is it? What is it?
So again, you know, the goal is to connect what already exists in the mind, right? So, words are the key to the mind. That's exactly how it works. So each word has a positive, a negative, or a neutral connotation, all right? So, you know, you have to be careful with the words that you select so that they resonate, right? You're trying to make sure that they resonate quickly, everybody gets it, huh? Because if they don't get it, what happens? Phew, right? It's just like you looking on the internet, right? You're looking at a site, if the site doesn't get you, what do? You blow it off, don't you?
Right, quickly.
Huh?
Quickly.
So, oh, very quickly. You only got about 3 seconds to catch an eyeball, by the way. I don't know if it knows that, but you know. So the site has to be graphically sophisticated, right? And it has to be somehow or another exciting. Words, it evaluates everything you see. Images, sounds, in a flash, you know? Does anyone know Malcolm Gladwell or have heard about Malcolm Gladwell? Okay. Malcolm's a great guy, and he has written some wonderful, wonderful books. If you haven't read Blink, you should probably get it and read it, because it's basically what we're talking about here. What Malcolm says is that every time you're blinking and every time you see something, you're instantaneously forming an image of that, you know? So you're blinking, I forget what the number is, some enormous number of times a day. So I think the Super Bowl ads are a great example of what we're talking about here, right? You know, the little puppy with the horse and all the other stuff. Now everybody watches the Super Bowl, right? They look at those ads, right? Oh, baby, I can't wait to see those ads, right? Well, what happens when you see the ads? 50% of them almost capture an emotion, don't they? Huh? The dog with the horses and whatever else it is. But then the other 50%, you say, what do you say? What the heck was that about, right? And here's somebody spending this enormous amount of money.
You wonder what the hell the answer matter.
Well, beyond that, and you're wondering what the answer, who was the guy that made that selection, right? Huh? It's not just the money you spend for the ad, it's all, there's somebody here in advertising. It's all the money you have to spend, right? Huh? To get the ad ready, right? Huh? So it's not just what you spend for the ad, it's everything that goes along with it. Now, Super Bowl before last, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but Radio Shack had an ad. Does anyone remember that Radio Shack ad? I guess it wasn't very good. I don't even know why they spent all that money, because they were dead already, you know what I mean? Huh? Radio Shack was dead 15 years ago, all right? So, again,
It's amazing that there's a lot of ads on in that spectrum that really, this year too, after the ad was over, what the hell are they selling?
yeah.
I mean, and it's amazing, they spent millions of dollars, and you don't remember, oh, that was a great ad with the 2 horses, what were they selling? I don't know. We had that discussion after, we didn't know what those companies were, we reviewed the ads last year, but didn't know what it was about.
That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
isn't it? You're trying to create an emotional bond, aren't you?
But Budweiser, you know it's a Budweiser ad.
Oh, yeah,
That's the key.
of course. So, as I just said here a minute ago, the ultimate success is to form an emotional bond with the product, right? So you and the product are one, huh? So I love my iPhone. I love my iPhone.
So iPhones are also designed, and I have a son who's in designing, because they're designed specifically to reflect back to you so you become one with the phone. If you look at all Apple products, that's one of their design tricks,
Yeah, of course.
is to have you reflect yourself into the device.
That's what we're talking about here, right? That's brand equity, right? What else? Harley Davidson. Isn't Harley Davidson great? Huh? People are tattooing the brand on their body.
Only some people.
Yeah, okay. Amazon, right? Amazon makes it so easy, isn't it? Hey, look at this. Click, I got it, forget it, right?
It's amazing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's just amazing how fast they are.
So, again, you're in the customer business, right? You can have the greatest product in the world, but not enough customers, right? So Volkswagen went out and they bought this Bugatti brand, right? You know how many Bugattis they sold in the last 4 years? 8. They sold eight Bugattis in the last 4 years, all right? You know how much money it cost to do these things? A lot. Huh? And, you know, they did it before when they brought out that, I forget the name of that expensive car they brought out. Does anybody remember the name of it? I guess not, because it did less. The Fate. They drove that car. You did? Yep. $60,000. What was the problem with it? What's the problem? First of all, the name was kind of fuzzy.
It was the Volkswagen.
It was but the worst part was it had a Volkswagen, right,
Yeah.
logo on the front, and then it had a Volkswagen logo on the back. So everybody's mind, everybody said, $60,000 for a Volkswagen? You know what I mean?
No, that wasn't a problem, the car was made.
Well, the whole thing, you know, but that was the beginning of it, right? That was the beginning of it, all right? If you can't get,
But Audi, which is part of Volkswagen, now has captured the largest automaker in the world. So even though they do these things and lost money, this and that, the total package. has
Oh, yeah, I agree with
number one.
I agree. So, again, as we started out talking about, perception is reality. You know, perception is reality. I love my whatever you love. Huh? You know, if you're a water person and you think that Poland Springs is the best water ever coming from those mountains up in Maine, no one's ever been there, you know what I mean? I've actually been to the Poland Spring bottling plants up in Maine, okay? But if you believe it, right, you're gonna pay $2, $3, $4 or whatever the heck it is for Poland Spring water, right? But if you're not a water person, what are you gonna do?
Cheapest one.
You're gonna either buy, you know, Aquafina, or you're gonna drink the water out of the tap. So again, it starts with customer profiling, right? That's where it starts. You need to identify all of the customer types that you do business with, right? Because you just don't do business with one specific customer, you're usually do business with collections of customers, right? Then you need to capture their different requirements, right? You need to capture the different requirements. You're talking about cars, okay? And you have 4 or 5 different car models. You know that some car buyers want to know every single thing there is to know about the car, right? How long it gives, one time.